I know it's been a while, but today's video is candle magic. It's been like 10, 11 months. This is Aaliyah. Obviously, we can see. You're asking why she's here because that's the energy I connected with. That's my next project with utilizing candle magic, making contact with her. I made contact with Bernie Mac, Uncle Phil, Sekhmet, Santissima Muerte. That's all I can name off the top of my head. But really, let's stick to the point. So the topic today is candle magic. How to use it and utilize the energy that you put forth behind whatever you're trying to do. So what is magic? When you use magic, you have an intent and you have a tool. So your tool may be a wand, a candle, a pendant, but you're spiritualizing that thing that you're using. Our topic today, candles. I made my own homemade candle, which you can see here. So today I'm going to teach you how to do candle magic, how to program it, how to create something you haven't done as far as your reality. So magic, like I said, if I haven't said it already, is you're just creating your reality based off an intent. So if you want more money, you can use it for that. If you want to talk to spirits, which I highly recommend, that's what you do. That's what you should do, because a lot of my answers and a lot of things I've gotten was from talking to spirits and utilizing candle magic. So how did I get into candle magic per se? It was simply during my spiritual journey, I had a lot of questions and I was doing a lot of rituals. Well, coincidentally, I'm a big dreamer. So one night I was dreaming and I had a candle lit and I was wondering, like, where should I go for my spiritual journey from here? And before I knew it, I was in the astral realms and my spirit directly showed me. The scene was very epic for starters. Let's start there. It was very epic. And it was like this big old well. But what was weird was on top of the well, just levitating, was a candle. And I could hear my spirit saying, you need to fuck with candles, do candle magic. So the logical thing, after I got out of the dream or the astral realms, I woke up and I said, let's figure out what this means. Well, it clearly said what it meant, but that's still what I asked myself at the time. So I was like, well, I don't know much about candle magic and I don't know much to do with candles. So what was the next step? I said, well, let me get a book on candle magic and see what to do. So after a period of time, I was dealing with candles, and I was busy trying to contact spirits with candles, and I yielded results, even from my ancestors. My grandmother, I ended up speaking to her. So my spirit was telling me basically, candles are a way to open up your mind in order to communicate. So it's a doorway to open your mind and communicate with spirits that are here and spirits that are just on a higher dimension, as you would call it. So as I did all that and I started getting all these answers, I was like, wow, why not share it? That's a great place to start. So with your candle, you're going to get you a candle. For those who are new, just get you a candle. You can make your own candle or you can get your candle. What's important is your intent, and then the ritual or the practice that you do repetitiously. That's very important, because the times I've just done it one time, I haven't gotten the answer. But the times I did it multiple times, or whatever I was doing, and I said that thing multiple times, that ritual I kept doing multiple times, I got an answer. So what that told me was, at the end of the day, was whatever I do repetitiously will yield the result. So it's playing a factor in my psyche. So if it's playing a factor in my psyche, and I'm obtaining to get an answer to create or manifest something in my life, then I follow that. So in other words, I shut down my humanity, or I go against my humanity, and I accept the answer that my spirit now gave me. And that's what's most important. I've had several friends who were into it and who weren't into it. Magic, that is. And when I explained to them my shadow side, or the side that's spiritual, they didn't care. Some of them were afraid and others cared to listen. But what was most important was that I continued to live my truth. So you're going to get your candle, and you're going to meditate after you light it and program it with your intent. So when you program it, it's this simple. For example, so let's say I want to communicate. Let's say I made this candle and I want to program it with my intent to communicate. So I'm going to use red, and to me, red means base level. So whatever's in my root chakra, I'm connecting with that, but I'm using this as an ancestor candle. So I want to talk to an ancestor. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to meditate and visualize myself talking to whatever ancestor I choose. Coincidentally, this candle I'm using that I made is going to be with Aaliyah. Now, during my process with Aaliyah, she's already talked to me in several different ways, and I've gotten answers. So that's that's that. So after you light the candle, well, after you program it, and then you light the flame, what also helps is, so once the flame is lit, or once the wick is lit and the candle's lit, you're going to stare into that candle flame, and you're going to start visualizing. Now, this is important from this step. Once you start visualizing, you want to utilize all five senses. So you want to hear it, see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, see it. That's what you want to do in your meditative state or in your scrying. So if you're staring at the flame, you're actually scrying into the flame and visualizing. When your eyes are closed, you're visualizing. Even though both, you're still visualizing, but the most important thing to remember is you want to utilize all five senses. And the question may be, well, why do I want to utilize all five senses? That's very simple, because you're making it real. When your eyes are awake and you're in beta state, now your conscious state here, you utilize all five senses: touch, taste, hearing, sight, smell, whatever. You utilize all five senses here. So you do the same thing in meditation. But what does that do at the end of the day? You're making it real. Now, it took me a moment to catch on to that process, because I was like, well, what do you mean? How does that actually work? How does that actually bring things and create my reality? Well, it does. So what happened was, when I started utilizing my candles for my own spiritual work, and I did just that, I would scry into the candle, or I would meditate. I have the candle with the program intent, and I would meditate, and I would impact all five senses. Basically, I imagine with my eyes closed or open, standing into a flame. Well, what that does is it actually opens your third eye. So what you're doing is you're bypassing your conscious mind and going into the subconscious. So your subconscious is actually what makes everything real. It's what creates your reality. Your spirit, that is your spirit. That's just another name that they call. So everything that's lying dormant, your spirit is already willing to do. You just haven't done it yet. Like, I've gotten a lot of signs using candles and doing dream work, to where my spirit is giving me answers. At first, I really didn't know what to do with it. I was just like, well, what do I do with this? Like, what did that dream mean? Then I started getting into more study work as far as symbols, and I knew what my dreams meant when it came to candle magic, because I get a lot of answers through my dreams utilizing candle magic. So then at that point, I knew what to do. So then I started seeing my life impact. So perfect example was about a year and a half ago, I was looking for a job. And I was like, I really need a job. I'm just kind of broke, and I don't want to be broke no more. That's it. It was just that simple. I just didn't want to be broke anymore. So when I got ready to get a job, I was like, all right, well, let me try this magic thing out. That's really how it came about. So I was like, let me try this magic thing out. So before I knew it, I said, well, I have a book on spirits, and I'm going to utilize the book. So in the book, I saw this one deity. It was Ajay Shaluga, and its iconograph, or its image for the symbol of the god or goddess, it was a seashell, but they call it a cowrie shell. And the cowrie shell represents money, and it's a whole list of things, even to what you can use the cowrie shell for. So I was like, well, all right, so this is what I'm going to do. So once I read about the deity and I got this iconograph, I was like, well, I want to talk to the energy. I want to communicate with energy in a way that I get a favorable result. Again, I'm looking for a job, and I'm using the candle, and I'm using a book with the iconograph that I got from out of it. So I got the image, and then I got the image in my mind, And then I went ahead for more personal use to up the energy, you could say, the frequency. I got the shell, and on my altar, because I have an altar, here at home. I have two actually. I have an ancestor altar and a deity altar. So I got the altar. I put the shell on the altar once I got the shell, and then at that point I lit my candle with my intention, and then I just focused on I need a job. So at that point, when I lit the candle, I didn't scry into the candle. I just visualized what I wanted out of it. So before I know it, I'm sitting there in meditation, and with my eyes closed shut, and I'm just seeing. I see myself walking in, getting a job into a place. I can smell the room. It's a little dank. Nothing special. Just to get me good enough in the door to get a job. I see a person I'm talking to. I can feel everything. I can feel the walls. I can feel the guy I'm talking to or the woman I'm talking to. I can hear voices. Good. Close it out. You don't need to do it for very long. But I didn't do it for very long. I'm going to be honest with you. So at that time, it was like a week later. Before I know it, there's a buddy of mine who lives in my neighborhood. And he's like, hey, man, I got a job. I'm like, really? He was like, yeah, I got a job just for you. I was like, well, where at? He's like, work where I'm working. But you have to go through this temp service agency. I'm like, well, I'm in no condition to complain. This job I'm at, I'm ready to leave. He was like, all right, well, you go here, here, and here, and then you're good to go. I said, all right, I'll do it. So I go to the temp agency, and before I know it, I walk in. Mind you, I just visualized this at the time. It was like a week ago. I had just visualized it. And now one of my neighbors, who happens to be my friend, is coming to me and telling me about a job. So before I know it, like I said, I'm going to the tip agency and I'm filling out the application like a regular person. And right after that, they're like, oh, well, these are the job listings. What are you applying for? So I told them, it's at the job my firm is working at. I'm not going to say. So after that, I applied for the job. In the job application process, they say, hey, come back the next day. We're going to do a drug test, and then you're going to speak with the guy who can get you the job. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. So I go home. I drank a lot of water because I was doing drugs that day. No hard drugs, marijuana. So I come back, pass the drug test. So after I did the drug test, passed the drug test, I go into the office. And the receptionist, the secretary, she's sitting at the desk. She was like, all right, you're going to go and speak to the guy who's going to help you or direct you to the job or say you're hired or not. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go into the guy's office, and he tells me, well, he asks me a series of questions. I mean, he looks over my application. He's just asking questions off the application that I already answered and just checking to make sure, hey, these are the right answers that I chose and no one forced me to choose it. But I couldn't help but notice in the background of where he was at was a cowrie shell or seashell. Matter of fact, it looked just like the same seashell that I had on my altar, but it was in a picture frame. So that led me to believe, I said, now, wait a minute. If this is the same look-alike seashell that I had on my altar, I asked myself, not thinking humanly now, I was like, what could that be? I said, if that ain't Aja Shaluga, who is right there on the back of this man's wall right now. Well, Aja Shaluga brings prosperity and money. Sure enough, not only did I get the job, but I got good pay as I was going in to do the job. And as a matter of fact, the guy who directed me to get the job, I was making more than him. Needless to say, he was upset when he found out how much I was making and how much he was making because he was already there. But our friendship didn't end there or anything like that. You know, later he ended up leaving, and then later after that, yes, I ended up making more money while I was there. So candle magic works. All this works. You you don't need to go into this with the human mindset. And by the human mindset, I mean your low level of thinking. I didn't go in there necessarily with I need more money. I went in there with I need more job. I need not no more job. I needed a job, but my whole aura gave off prosperity because also during that week prior, I was doing a lot of spiritual baths to just cleanse my aura for prosperity. So I was also not only bringing that energy in, I was able to actually reflect it and someone came. Let me tell you how this works in case you missed it during the process. So I had a candle with an intention, and during that week also I took a spiritual bath. So what my aura gave off, or what my spirit gave off, was the desire to have and get a job because I needed a job at the time. Well, I needed another job. I already had a job. The job I was at was just shitty. So before I know it, somebody I knew came. So my spirit attracted that towards me. And all I did was have to just go through the process, and boom, before you know it, I was in the door. That job was pretty good. It worked out. So let's get back to the point. So if you're going to utilize any type of candle magic, let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts. First off, throw that shit out the window. If you're reading a book or you're trying to get into candle magic and someone telling you, don't do this, don't do that, you need to ask yourself, well, who exactly are they and why shouldn't I do it? Because you need to stop following rules when it comes to utilizing your own mind. Because when you're doing candle magic, you're actually utilizing your own mind to do this anyway. It's going to be your own inner being, your own inner self, attracting and repelling what you desire and what you don't desire, what you want and what you don't want the entire time. So whether you're going for a house, you're going for spiritual answers, whatever it may be, your spirit, you are retracting and repelling that thing. So let's say red. So you can make this. So when you go to program your candle or make it for whatever you want to utilize and whatever you want to do, it's whatever you choose. It's whatever you choose. No one is Lord over you but you. So I'm going to use this to have further communication with Aaliyah. You may use a red candle to have further communication with whoever. But if I've had plenty of conversations with Santa Muerte. She's a deaf goddess, but she also comes with healing, prosperity, protection, and all that fun stuff. Like I remember there was one time I walked into the spiritual shop, which is my favorite. There's one right by my home, and I forgot why I was even going there. But I know what I normally go to do is get candles, and once I get my candles, I do like I told you. I program my intent. I'm looking for a result. But normally when I do the ritual or the practice, I just do it and forget it. And I've always told my spirit, remember what you did. Like, just give me a sign, remember what you did. And I always get that, hands down. It's just that simple. So, like I said, I was going in there one day, and I was like, I don't know why I'm here. Other than the candle, I don't really know why I'm here. But, Lord behold, I ran into a Lakshmi statue. And Lakshmi brings prosperity. She brings prosperity and abundance and wealth. Needless to say, it was that silent voice that I heard. Like it was silent to everyone else, but it was loud to me. Like only I could hear it. I was walking by the aisle and this is what I heard. Get me the hell out of here. She said, you put me in my home, you put me in your home, I will bring your home prosperity and abundance. I had to do a double take because I was like, what? I'm going crazy here. I think I'm going crazy. So I did one of these. What? It wasn't the first time that happened to me. But needless to say, I bought the statue. I paid for the statue. Because by that time, like I said, I already had the job. By that time, I already had the job after doing the ritual, my own ritual. And before I know it, I was making, let's say, twice as much as I was making in the military. Yes, I had to put in more work, but that's not the point. I was making twice than I was making in the military at the time. So I got Lakshmi, and I remember with Lakshmi, for me to connect with her, obviously green, I think money, so I use that. You with this, you want to keep everything simple. You don't want to overcomplicate anything, because this is where you get caught up, and this is where you fall. This is where you could say you'll fall short, you'll fall into confusion. You gotta realize there are these lesser frequencies and these lesser energies that try to keep you where you're at. So by me, if I was to entertain, oh, I didn't hear that. That was in my head. That was completely made up. Then I wouldn't have got where I was at when I heard, get me the hell out of here. I will bring your home prosperity and abundance. Now, that prosperity and abundance, people get caught up in just the name, as far as when you think of prosperity, you think of money. No, that prosperity can mean anything. It can mean shit like your light bill's paid on time, your household's good, your child's taken care of, hadn't got any trouble that week. It can be anything. But ultimately, what I found out through the end of that process, you need to define what that process is, as far as what prosperity is for you, what abundance is for you. You need to have your own definition of what that is, because those words are just very general. So that can mean anything at the end of the day. So you also need to define what that is. So when you're going through this, be patient. Be patient. Like I said, I had to wait a week. Now, during that week process, it seemed like forever, because in the back of my head, I was like, man, I really need a job. Man, I need better pay, basically. Overall, I need better pay. So when you're going through this, and you're going through the process of using magic, even for the first time users, I really need you to understand this. You got to get the concept of what's done on TV and what's expected out of your head. TV is really glamour. It's spiritual, because those ideas came from somewhere. They did. Like, that moment of silence was it. that was it. They came from somewhere. So the next question is, well, where did they come from? If you can't feel it, hear it, touch it, see it in the physical realm, well, if I called you ugly and you felt that, then you felt that. That's a real emotion. So if I can taste, if I'm at work one day and I'm tasting, or I'm craving for soda and I can taste it, where's that coming from? Inside. So all those ideas came from where? Inside. So what does inside exactly lead to? What does it do? It's part of your spirit, the spirit realm. So anytime anybody has an idea, whatever, follow that. That's your own idea. That's where spirit comes from. Now, you have all these energies surrounding you, and what you vibrate to is always going to be what you attract. Hands down. There's no second guessing it. You've attracted it. Where you're at in your life, you've controlled and attracted yourself to that specific destination, that place that you're at, and only you can change it. Ain't nobody trying to save you. Ain't nobody trying to save you. You gotta save you. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you cry, ain't nobody trying to save you. Ain't nobody trying to. This is about saving yourself and knowing yourself. As a matter of fact, speaking on that, a lot of candle magic I've performed and done has answered a lot of questions about myself, just like as far as my spiritual journey. Now, preferably, I like to use a lot of black candles, because black for me represents the subconscious. It doesn't represent negative energy as in this is bad energy, I shouldn't work with it, or I shouldn't deal with it. No, that's incorrect thinking. Black represents the subconscious mind. Black. And I have a book later on. I think it's called 777. It's an Aleister Crowley book. It's by Aleister Crowley, and I'll list off the gods and goddesses in correspondence to your name of the energy you incarnated with based off your name. So if you want that, just comment below and I'll give that to you personally. That's a given. You don't have to worry about that. Mine was Osiris. Osiris deals with the underworld, the Lord of the Black. What does that represent? Your subconscious mind. So a lot of my answers and a lot of candle magic and rituals that I do is black. There's no coincidence. I've always been naturally drawn to black. Always. Like, I always wear a lot of black. That's it. I just wear a lot of black. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. You know, I've had a couple times where people are like, well, why do you wear so much black? And I'm just like, because I like black. I'm not debating you on what I like. I like what I like. I know what I know. I like black. So you shouldn't feel ashamed or anything. But for those who are just starting out and you want answers for your spirituality, let's say for those who are dreamers, we'll start there. For those who are dreamers and you're trying to get an answer and you're utilizing candle magic, you don't even have to, let's say per se, you really don't have to go very hard and try hard. It's just what people get caught up in is they're thinking about it and they're just not doing it. That's where I was. A lot of the time I would think about it a lot and I just wouldn't do anything. So I was always up here, but I wasn't reflecting it as far as a manifestation, doing it. So that's where I was at most of the time. So when I finally reached the point in my mind, I was certain. There was no going back. It was, I want to know this. And this is what I am. First and foremost, I saw everything that come out of my mouth and out of my mind as divine. So therefore, I made myself divine because at first I never saw myself as a divine being. I never saw myself as that because how I was raised initially, it was always outside of yourself. I was stuck with the Christian religion and how things should go versus how things are for me. So when I shut out the world and started listening to myself and following my own path, then I came to utilize this and where I'm at. So now I'm in a place to where I can utilize the energy to repel and retract anything I so desire. Having a clear mind, that's one of the most important things. So when you're getting into magic is, like I said, it's utilizing your mind to create your own reality. So if your mind isn't clear, and I want to really break this down because I struggle with this. Your mind isn't clear, that just means you can't focus at the time to perform a task that you need to carry out. So when it comes to candle magic or any type of magic, your mind needs to be clear. In other words, it needs to be clear of disruption to perform the task at hand, to yield the result that you want, the desired result. And also, it needs to be strong enough to wait for the desired effect to realize, for you to realize, is this favorable result or is it not a favorable result? Because that's what's going to be important. Because if you don't like it, do it again. Do it again. If you like it, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. You did what you were supposed to do. That's it. Don't make it hard. You always need to keep it simple. So like I said, I use black. I was using black because black represents the subconscious mind. And with that, I've always gotten a lot of answers. This past Halloween, the Day of the Dead, as well, I was supposed to do a ritual with Jack. Let me see him here. What is he? Jack Skeleton. Well, I was with my buddy. He was in the military. Sorry, Leah. He was about to leave, and we went to the flea market. And what was on my mind at the time, I need to get this. Now, it hasn't come to me. Another thing with spirit, you don't rush. Now, with your spirit, you're going to go off of how you feel about something. So basically, your emotions. So if your emotions aren't in control, you want to get yourself in a relaxed state. A lot of answers you get will be in your relaxed state just because the spirit is very subtle. So what told me to get this, I was in a relaxed state. I was out with my friend. We were having a good time. It was his last day. I was very relaxed. And I heard my spirit say, you need to get this and do something with this. So I got Jack. So as far as what to do with him yet, I'm not there, but I've already downloaded a set of instructions of where to go from there. I just haven't done it yet because I'm reorganizing my life to my next form of destiny as far as where I want to go from here and what I want to do. How I got to Leah was actually candle magic. Matter of fact, I actually had a red candle, not this one. It was one of the taller ones, and with that, when I started contacting her, I started getting, normally the ancestors or deceased individuals, they'll come in my dreams. She hasn't come in my dreams yet because honestly I haven't put that much effort in, but I plan on doing it now because I decided I'll make my own candle to do that thing. So when it came to her, you'll start to see a lot of, anytime you do, let's say, candle magic, and you're trying to connect with the deity or ancestor or spirit, you simply want to just give them things that they like, play things that they like, or give them, like, let's say, some type of beverage that they like. So with Aaliyah, I just looked up her biography, and I looked up what she liked to eat, what she liked to drink, and then before I know it, I start having all these synchronicities in my life as far as her. So the work I'm doing with her isn't done. I was told she deals with Akasha, and that's basically your past lives. Well, about that, I've actually got a lot of information on my past lives, and I've actually was able to achieve and find out my soul name and a number of lives that I actually lived. So that was pretty fun and pretty exciting. So candle magic can take you a lot of places in the spirit realm. It's nothing to be afraid of. I highly encourage you to do it. There's nothing, like I said, again, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's only yourself. If someone is against it and they're saying you shouldn't do it, they're afraid. They haven't dove into it. A lot of people who talk about it but don't talk about what they've done with magic or even with their spirit, they're either just ignorant, they don't know, or they're just afraid. Everyone I've talked to so far who's actually done something, they're not talking why you shouldn't do it. They're talking every reason why you should do it and how it's helped them and impacted their lives. So we'll always remember that. So we're going to do like a quick recap. So you're going to go, matter of fact, how to even pick out your candle. I'm going to give you that one too. So whether you're dealing with chakras or you have an emotional issue or anything like that, this is all you're simply going to do. You're going to go into whatever shop, whatever store, or if you're making it, you're going to go and fill out the type of candle or color, even if you're making it, that you should utilize for whatever the situation is. So for me, how I picked out red was because, matter of fact, I went to Walmart and I was like, well, I'm going to make my own candle. And I was like, what should I get to make? I was like, well, what should I get to make this candle? So I went to Walmart. Before I knew it, I was like, all right, well, I already ordered whatever I needed to order. I need to get a color and something to put it in for myself. Because I was like, well, why keep buying from the spiritual shops when I know the science behind it, and it's just as effective as if me making my own and utilize it. Matter of fact, I put more power into this by creating it myself because more effort goes into it. That's a transfer of energy. So all the energy I use to put in this with my intention, that's more of a result I'm getting out of it at the end of the day. So when you go into the store or wherever you're going to go, you're going to feel, because your spirit doesn't always talk to you. Let's be honest. People who are looking for that, well, my spirit didn't talk to me and stuff like that. That's okay. I'm here to tell you that's completely okay. Because nine times out of 10, your spirit's giving you a feeling or an image in your third eye. If you've been doing your third eye work, or in other words, if you've been meditating, which affects your third eye, also, which all this is a form of meditation focus, then you're going to wield a very big positive result, whatever it may be, negative or positive. That's what you should be doing anyway. I forgot where I was. Oh well, let's go back into it. Go into the store, wherever you're going, and you're going to feel what you should need. Or what do you need at the time for whatever ritual or spiritual activity you're doing. So let's say you're going to the store, you're looking for a candle. You don't know what candle you should get for whatever purpose. You're going to go. If you feel something, you should get that candle. Get whatever color candle that is and take it home. Buy it, take it home. That's it. Now, what you want to do in your spare time or in that allotted time you set for yourself, because I know some people, they just have a busy schedule and sometimes they just don't know what to do. Or they act as if, oh, I don't have time to perform this spiritual task, which is a lie. It's an illusion. You do have time, because you make time for anything else you choose to do that you've been doing for a long time. You're just making enough time for you to do other things, because you made time for those other things. Make time for this if you're serious about this. It's not hard. It's very simple. You just have to keep doing it, and it doesn't take as much time as people say it does or people leave out. Like, most of the magic I've done has maybe it's only took in maybe 10-20 minutes. That's just because I do most of my work is meditative works. After I program it, I do a lot of visualization. So you get the candle, you get home, you felt out what you needed. You get home, you want to create your own space. That's another important thing. So if you get your candle, you want to create your own space, and then in that space, like my space, I have, for my whole setup, my ritual, I have a bell. And it's something about bells that just soothes me, quiets me, and puts me in a relaxed state for me mentally to do my work. So I use that, and when I hit the bell, it's just like my whole thing is like clear. I know why, because bells, they generate a certain frequency which helps your body and mind relax. And when you're in a relaxed state, you're actually able to visualize and utilize the energies in your body more efficiently versus those who are in an unrelaxed state. And then from there, you want to program your candle. So before you program your candle, there's certain things you can do to your candle. You can dress your candle, bless your candle, if you're still using that term. So let's say you have some wealth oil, Mojo wealth oil. So you can, because again, the more you put into it, the more you get out. So let's say you have wealth oil, Mojo wealth oil. You want to bring more wealth into your life. So you can touch the candle, whatever. But the whole point is you're using your mind to create. You're creating that experience right now, in that moment. So if I had a wealth candle, I want to bring wealth in. I want to take a dab of the wealth oil, drink it down, drag it down, drag it down, drag it down, all four sides to symbolize what? Me bringing in wealth. Then after that, I may even rub it on the bottom. Then I may take the wealth oil and rub it on my heart to show, hey, this is what my heart desires. I spiritualize my candle by bringing the wealth oil. And then also, what is energy? Everything you do is energy. Every time I move, I'm utilizing energy. Hell, even your breath is energy. So then what I normally do is I speak into my candle. So I'll say, may this candle forever bring me wealth, and may my life be prosperous. Boom. Then you can close your eyes with your hands, because your hands generate energy. And I just hold it and just focus my energy going into the candle. That's it. For however long I choose. And when I'm done, I just light the candle. Simple as that. So once you light the candle, you can do whatever from then. Again, I'm making this up as far as what I do, because a lot of this you're making up to create your desired effect. So you making it up is you programming the candle with your intent from the jump. And that's it. So you want to do that. So if your spirit is telling you, hey, well, you need to do this for X amount of days, or if you feel, because that's also when you feel and your spirit's telling you it's the same thing, you need to do this again. Or it might even tell you exact number of days. It may say, you may have the feeling, I need to keep doing this. I need to keep doing this. I need to keep doing this. Then you do that. Because a lot of the miscommunication is, well, I don't know how long do I do it for. Well, you said this, but I feel I should do this. Do what you feel. Do what you feel. This whole thing is about what you feel and what you hear from internally. It's coming from here to do it anyway. I'm just teaching you steps on how to do it. I've already done this. You need to do this. You need to get this. I've already done it. And I'm here to, if you have questions, please ask. Because that's what I'm here for right now. Candle magic and dream work, done it. Been doing it, still doing it, and I like it. So after you do that, people have a preference. Well, I want to close out my ritual or whatever. Do that. If you feel you should do that, do it. When you're done, do it. If you feel you should close it out in some way, do it. Me, once I do it and I'm satisfied spiritually or mentally up top and on the inside, I normally get this warm feeling or this tingling sensation like, hey, we're done. Get up, walk away. And that's it. The end. Like, don't make it hard. You really want to keep everything just simple, and you want to just dive into it. Dive into it with a clear mind. A clear mind. If you have too many things going through your head, go relax. If you like listening to music, listen to music. If you like swimming, go swim. Whatever you do to relax, and then go do it. Because that's when you're able to focus more, visualize better, and everything else. You're just going to yield a greater result. So that's where you want to start. For any questions, please just feel free to ask. If you're unsure about anything, or if I didn't explain anything good enough, or if I can do a better job, just ask, just say. I hope you enjoyed. But yeah, that's Candle Magic 101 really. Anything you do magically isn't hard. If you aren't meditating, or you have a hard time meditating, I feel it. Yeah, I know. I know. You need to at least meditate. Meditation is a start, because when you meditate, what meditation does, it quiets your mind. What happens when you quiet your mind? You shut up the I need to pay my bill, or that worry of paying your light bill, your rent, or anything like that. You're quieting that. You're quieting your mind so your spirit can speak. To stay on track with this video, you need to meditate. If you have a hard time meditating, start with at least 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. Why 5? Because it's better than 0. that's all I got. 5 is better than 0. But ultimately, what happens is it's progress. I initially started out with 5 minutes a day, just because at the time I was in the military and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't even know if I was sure if I was even meditating right. Well, I'm going to give you that answer. There is no wrong way to meditate other than not to meditate. That's it. But you yield a number of results from meditating. One of them is your ability to focus. The higher reason is to communicate with spirits, ancestors, gods, deities, whatever you decide to call them. You can pretty much access higher energies. That's why you want to meditate. Plus, that's a big thing. Plus, when you meditate, you're actually giving control over to your spirit by shutting down your humanity to pick out the candle you should get, or to create the candle that you need to have whatever experience you need to have, or to get whatever answer you need to get, or to get whatever you need to get. Remember that. So now's the time to start your work. With that being said, I don't think there's anything else for me to say right now. I'll be making another video here shortly. Again, for any questions or anything that maybe wasn't clear to you, yeah, I'm feeling like it's time to go. It's time to get out of here. It's time for bed. For any questions, just send a link or comment below, I'm going to put my email in the box. But again, you can utilize this to just literally change your life. If you're just starting out, don't expect results immediately, because you still have a lot of human thinking that you have to get over, and you have a lot of your humanity you have to deal with, and you haven't corrected that yet. You've just been taught wrong. You got to accept that. You've been taught wrong. That's why you're here. That's why you're here now. Something about your spirit drew you here, and if something about your spirit drew you here, and you don't like it, then I have nothing for you. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm not here to tell you you're right. I'm here to just share information. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your preacher. I'm just here to share information. I can't even lie. I am here to teach. I retract that. I'm not your preacher, but I'm not your personal teacher. Let your spirit teach you. Your teacher is your spirit. Let that teach you, because at the end of the day, you want to see how it all works, and you want to bring it back to yourself. You want to bring it back inward. At the end of the day, the feeling to listen to me or anybody else is coming from inside anyway. So, yeah, I'm not your preacher, but I'll say a lot of things repetitively, and as I get better at doing videos, because I need more practice, but hey, it is what it is. So thank you for watching. Again, if you have any questions, just comment below. I have no problem answering. Overall, let's just keep it a peaceful environment. Yeah, you guys have a good morning, good night, good day, and enjoy.